I'll give you space at the end too to say whatever you want. If there's something that you were like, really want to share this, but I didn't get the
I'm sure
chance.
something will come to mind by the end.
All right, so we're gonna start with what is your name and place of residence?
Anthony Kraft, and I live right down here, right at the corner of Fushi and Broad.
And Anthony, what is your transit story? Are you a bus rider? How are you involved with the bus kind of on the regular?
Well, I like to say, like, when I was a child, I learned how to ride the bus on the south side. So it was just a necessity to ride the bus back then. But now it's kind of like a preference, right? So today I'll ride the bus because I don't like to move the car. Because down here, we have parking wars in Richmond, just like that show from Philadelphia. It's just like that. So when you get a good parking space and they're not writing tickets, you don't want to move the car. Because, you got a premium space. And of course, I live like right across the street from the ball station. So, I'm only going as far as like Willow Lawn. I can get there on the pulse and not have to park the car quickly. So it just makes sense. Really convenient.
You said that if you go to Carytown sometimes, maybe you'll hop on the 5.
Yeah.
Like that, if it's convenient for you. So what other routes do you tend to take?
Well, I'm taking the 5. We can see like the 50 and the 14 are behind us. So right there at that stop. So I take the 14 and I'll go to Kroger and come back. The 50, I can go to Kroger or Willow Lawn on the 50 and come back. The 5, Carytown and come back. And then I've also taken the 1A, so the new 1A. So I've been to Chesterfield, Town Center, Walmart, and Wegmans on the 1A just to go out there and see like what it was. So those primarily.
I'm so curious, how did the Pulse coming here, how did it change your habits and how you interacted with the bus? Like, did you ride the bus? I know you said you rode the bus growing up. But yeah, did the Pulse change, like, get you back into that habit a little bit of relying on public transit?
Yeah, so it was a combination of the Pulse and like the free fares. Like I call it free fare Richmond. So once it became free, I was more inclined to try it. But I wanted to try the Pulse. I wanted to see how easy it was, how fast it was, things of that sort. As far as living down here, though, I remember when they were building it. I distinctly remember when they were painting it orange. They call that orange, but everybody down here was like it's red. But I remember when they were building it and people complained a lot. But to me, it's not even an issue because it didn't take away any parking spaces down here. It's in the center, so you couldn't park there anyway. So that would be my only gripe with the ball station, but it's a non-factor because of the way it's in the center lane. So I have no complaints with it at all.
So why do you believe in the bus? Why do you think the bus is important? As someone who uses a car or now in your life, but you can get to, like you said, to Willow Lawn, you don't have to use your car all the time. You don't have to worry about that parking. So why do you believe in the bus?
Well, my mom raised me and taught me how to love it because it was always a guarantee that I could get home. So we lived right beside Southside Plaza. So there's so many ways, even back then, to get to Southside Plaza on a bus. So I already had an affinity for it. But honestly, the free fare thing is what did it. Once it became free, it's so easy just to hop on it. And then even if you don't have the effort to get up and get to the station early or get to the stop early, once you, in your back of your mind, you're like, it's free. So I might as well make the effort. And then the interactions on the bus. One great thing was the Wi-Fi. Like when the Wi-Fi took over on the bus, like in other words, when it was on every bus, that made it a lot more desirable too. So.
Elevated things.
Right, it did.
Yeah.
It did, and it's not slow. So it's pretty good. Now they got the plugs on the back of the seat. So the evolution of GRTC since COVID makes it exciting and almost entertaining to ride it in some sort of way.
Does it make you feel like kind of proud of Richmond, of the city, and of what we're doing here?
Yeah, so that's an interesting concept. I used to work in Minneapolis, right? So there they have a bus, like a Pulse, that goes from the airport to Center City, Minneapolis, and it's on the honor system, right? So I can say that I've honorably declined to pay that before, and it wasn't an issue, but they always put in my mind, like, what if the bus was really free, you know? And then I come home and I'm like, okay, the bus is gonna be free, but how long? And now it's been what, like 4 or 5 years it's been free? So I mean, yeah, it's just a thing. It's something entertaining. I like to teach people how to ride the pulse if they're willing to learn, you know.
Amazing. So when did you get connected with RVA Rapid Transit? How did you hear about us? And yeah, what was it like just learning about us and our work?
Well, that's interesting because I think an email popped in my Gmail account, and I clicked on it, and then I went to you guys' events, and I looked at like all the YouTube videos and things of that sort, and then I just filled out the Google Doc to sign up for RVA Mobility, but I didn't have any idea what it was going to be. Like that first day I walked in there, I did not know it was a class. I thought it was going to be like a one-day seminar or something. So at the end of the class, it's like, oh, I got to come back next Wednesday. Wow, okay. But then, you know, the concept, I think you guys structured it well. Like starting off with the history of GRTC, that's an instant hook, you know? Not to mention the reverend that gave, you know, the information, but when you start off with the history of something, if somebody's inclined or intrigued about it, then they'll come back. So, and that's how I learned about it. And then what kept me coming back was just the information. It's not information overload, but it's enough information that if you're interested in rapid transit in general and how they get the money. For me, it was how is the fare free and how does it remain free after the federal grant goes away from COVID. And I learned that definitely. But then I learned so much more about like city council, the Henrico government, Chesterfield government, things like that. So it was really cool. It was a really cool class.
So why would you encourage other people, not even necessarily people who are bus riders, but maybe people like yourself who maybe use it sometimes, maybe not at all, but why would you encourage them to take Mobility University and to support our work, and why?
I would encourage anybody that's interested in GRTC, even if you don't ride it, or maybe if you live in a neighborhood down in the fan or somewhere, and there's, you know, the Pulse station at the Whole Foods right there. If you're ever curious about if it's effective, if it's helping people, why is it here? If you ever complained about this orange lane in your life, go to the classes. You'll understand. You'll get an appreciation for why it's here and who it's helping. And if you ride the bus, then surely you're going to understand how much it helps people.
All right. What is your favorite part about RVA Rapid Transit? What's your favorite part? I know you said about Mobility University, you love the information, so it sounds like you love to have that context
Right.
and know what's going on with the region, how we're growing. But about our work specifically and what we do. Yeah.
There's a couple of things. Like I thought about this when I went to the Mayathon and you guys were there. So I would have never went there. I would have never knew about it if it weren't for you guys. I thought about the job fair I went to a couple of weeks ago, and I met another young lady that was in the 501c in Fulton Hill. So I would have never even knew how to engage with her or interact, or even know the things that were important for like a 501c. So I think you guys like sparked the interest in like how 501c operate, what they actually do. It gave me an appreciation for a charitable organization.
That's cool. That's a great insight. All right, my last question is, what are your personal visions for our region, for our public transit system? And how would you like to see RVA Rapid Transit grow?
Well, you know, my ultimate vision is to keep the fare free. You were there when I came up with the term fare free, Richard. Like, I believe in that. Like, it should be free. Big corporations like, you know, IE, VCU, Capital One, Altria, CoStar is growing like a big, you know, one that's growing. Those corporations should, you know, give money. They give money to everything else, right? They give money to sports teams, stadiums, all this other stuff. Just give money to something in your community that's helping out the community as a whole, all 3 counties. So that would be like my outlook or what I want from it. And what was the second question?
And then the other question was about RVA Rapid Transit. How would you like to see us, our team, and what we offer and our impact in the community? How would you like to see RVA Rapid Transit grow?
More ambassadors. That would be one thing. And like then at a certain point, like logistically speaking, like maybe ambassadors for certain regions. You know what I mean? So that way the riders get familiar